The Vortak Consortium had calculated the risk carefully. One human diplomat, one accidental exposure to their homeworld's toxic atmosphere during negotiations. The death would appear natural, regrettable, but not intentionally hostile. Humans would file diplomatic protests, perhaps impose minor trade sanctions, and eventually move on. After all, it was just one individual among billions. Ambassador Elena Rodriguez had been Earth's most experienced xenodiplomat, fluent in 47 alien languages and respected across 12 star systems. Her death during the trade summit on Vortak Prime was ruled a tragic accident by local authorities. Equipment malfunction. These things happened. The human delegation accepted the explanation with surprising grace. They requested her body be returned to Earth for burial, offered condolences to the consortium for the unfortunate incident, and departed without filing formal complaints. See? Chancellor Vex Krill told his council, his chitinous plates clicking with satisfaction. Deathworlders may be fierce in war, but they understand politics. One loss for significant territorial gains, an acceptable trade. The first sign something was wrong came 3 days later. Every major news network across the galaxy, from the Centauri Broadcasting Collective to the Rim World Information Grid, suddenly carried the same story. Not just Elena Rodriguez's death, but her entire life. Her childhood on Luna Colony. Her first diplomatic mission at age 25. Her role in negotiating the Peace of Proxima. Her marriage to a fellow diplomat. Her daughter's graduation from the Terran Academy. The coverage was exhaustive, personal, and broadcast in every major galactic language. Beings across the galaxy found themselves learning about this one human's favorite food, her fear of zero-gravity sports, her habit of collecting geological samples from every world she visited. It's just grief, Vex Krill assured his increasingly nervous advisors. Humans are emotional. They'll move past this. But the broadcasts didn't stop. Week after week, new documentaries appeared. Elena's former students speaking about her teaching methods. Alien diplomats she'd helped during their darkest moments. Even former enemies praising her fairness and wisdom. The galaxy wasn't just learning about Elena Rodriguez. They were falling in love with her. Then came the monuments. On every human world, in every human station, memorials appeared. Not just plaques or statues, but interactive exhibits where visitors could experience Elena's most famous negotiations through holographic recreation. Children on worlds she'd never visited learned her name in their native languages. The Vortak Consortium found their trade agreements mysteriously being renegotiated by other species. Not cancelled, just adjusted. A percentage point here, a clause modification there. Always with polite explanations. We want to ensure the memory of Elena Rodriguez is honored in our dealings. This is psychological warfare, hissed Security Chief Morthak. They're weaponizing sentiment. But it was more than that. 6 months after Elena's death, the first Elena Rodriguez diplomatic core ship launched from Earth. Then another. Then dozens. Each vessel crewed by humans who had studied Elena's methods, carrying her translated writings, offering free diplomatic services to species in conflict. They didn't charge for their services. They didn't seek territorial gains. They simply arrived at disputes, introduced themselves as representatives of Elena's legacy, and began mediating. The success rate was unprecedented. Conflicts that had raged for decades found resolution in weeks. Not through force or threats, but through the careful, patient methods Elena had pioneered. Each resolution ended with the same phrase. This piece is dedicated to the memory of Elena Rodriguez, who believed all beings could find common ground. Within 2 years, Elena's method had become standard curriculum in diplomatic schools across the galaxy. The Vortak Consortium watched in growing horror as their political influence evaporated. Not through conquest or economic pressure, but through irrelevance. When every conflict could be resolved through human mediation, what use were traditional power brokers? The final humiliation came when Chancellor Vex Krill received a personal message from the Terran Diplomatic Corps. It was brief. The Elena Rodriguez Memorial Peace Initiative has received a request to mediate the growing unrest on Vortak Prime. We understand your recent economic difficulties may be contributing to social tensions. We'd be honored to help, free of charge, in Elena's memory. Vex Krill stared at the message, his plates clicking nervously. Outside his palace, protesters demanded his resignation. The consortium's economy was collapsing as former allies sought human mediation instead of Vortak influence. His own advisors were questioning his leadership. They had killed one human diplomat. In response, humanity had killed the entire concept of traditional galactic politics, replacing it with something far more dangerous. Hope. As Vex Krill drafted his acceptance of human mediation, he realized the terrifying truth. Humans didn't just seek revenge for their dead. They transformed them into legends. Elena Rodriguez had become more powerful in death than she had ever been in life, and humanity had made sure the entire galaxy knew her name.